Hi folks, hope you're all still doing well. Today what we're going to do is fit these 1-inch handlebars. Right now, originally I wanted to fit these normal 7/8 inch handlebars. They're old British classic looking ones. I really like the look of these. I think they're of something like the style of a BSA C15, something like that, where they go forward a little bit and then they sweep down and back. Really like them. Now I had a problem when I was looking for some handlebar levers, because I want to try and keep the front end minimalistic, no cables shown, all internal. And when I was looking around for internal, or should I say reverse lever brake and clutch levers like these, the only ones I could find in 7/8 of an inch, they were rubbish, either brass or aluminium from India. And one pair I had, you could get hold of it and you could bend them with your hands. So I ended up getting these really nicely made pair, stainless steel. The only trouble is the 1-inch diameter bars. That's what they're designed for. So I did manage to get hold of these, and they're made by LSL, LS1s, and they're very similar style. So I'm quite happy with them. Good thing about 1-inch bars is that when you're running cables and that through, and I want to try and put the switches and the cables going through there, the wires off the switches, is that there's a little bit more diameter on the inside. Well, that's what I thought there was going to be, but there's not much more, because these are really well made, and the wall thickness on here is 3mm thick. So they're really solid bars, and in a way I'm pleased, because when I run the cables through, I'll have to drill some holes here to bring them out the bottom, and it will lose some strength there, but as I say, with these being so sturdy to start with, it's not going to be a problem. Right, next thing is the yokes. The yokes on here is designed for 7/8 bars, so 22 point something millimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the yoke off, and I'm going to try and clamp it onto the saddle and the lathe, and use the lathe a bit like a milling machine. And I went and borrowed off a friend of mine a 1-inch drill, and then I'm going to hopefully try and drill through the centre. So first of all, get the bars off. apart from putting a washer on the back and a nut on just to support the back end, I've got the two front ones on. I've bolted this plate onto my saddle. Everything's nice and central because I've had this 22mm bar in there while I sent it up with a chuck. So we'll, a few things. First of all, take this bar out and we'll get this washer on the back. Washer is really just to support it at the back. We'll go into the back end lifting or dropping. The other thing is that if I drill it out 1 inch as it is, then it won't be able to nip the bars up. So what I'm going to do is lift these and put a few washers underneath them. So that's me. That'll be a couple of millimeters, 1.5, 2 millimeters space, so that I can then squash it down. Now I hope this is going to work, otherwise I'll be looking for a new top yoke. Well, that seems fantastic. Yeah, really pleased with that. I'm going to say a thank you for the drill to my mate Richard. He saved the day by having one the right size and brought it up yesterday. Right, so we'll strip them down and I'll get the yokes back on the bike and then we'll get the bars on. See what it's like with these bars on. Well, that's the machining done, and I was lucky in a way that when I put the plate on top of the cross slide and lay that on top, it was exactly at the right height, so I didn't have to shim it, just had to bolt it down, but it's went well. So I'm going to pop it back on the bike now, see what it's like with the handlebars on and the levers in. Right, so just have a little walk round. If you remember in my last video, I was talking about going to have a look at a few different things, and for one reason or another I'm not able to do a video on those. First of all, the back light, if I just bring you in to show you that, the back light already had a rubber in, and I was able just to pop in this LED panel, so it really just needs 3 wires soldering onto it, and I'll do that when I go to rewire the bike. The brake sensor, the speedo sensor which I was talking about, well, I've decided I'm going to put it here on the brake caliper mounting. So I'm going to drill it and thread it, and I'm just waiting for a tap coming so I can do that. I'll put it on there rather than try to make a bracket. It was something extra to make, and as I move the back wheel forward and back as the chain stretches, then I would have to have it moving with it. Well, the brake caliper does that bracket, so I'm just waiting for a tap for that. The other thing I was thinking about was to put in here. There's a little gap there, and what I was going to do was put a cut down ammunition box in there to act as a battery box. However, when I looked at it and tried to fit it in, because you've got to have access to open it up, I found that it was going to have to be too big. It was too awkward to try and get where the key switch is going to be. So I've ditched that idea, and I'm going to just use the ammunition box. Maybe it's on another project. I've got a K100, BMW K100, which I may keep it for that project as well. So what I've done here, I've ordered one of those little brass fire extinguishers you used to have on buses and trains and things like that. I'm going to try and put one of them in there. I might need to cut it down a bit shorter and polish it up a little bit, but I'll see what it's like when it comes in the post and make my mind up then. Right, so that could be the next project on my list. We'll have to wait and see when it arrives. Well, thanks everybody for watching again, and stay safe.